Here's the thing. As a kid, if you were not down with G.I. Joe, no one played with you. You were ostracized. At least I think so, because no one I knew did not get down with G.I. Joe. Lames. Even those one kids who enjoyed the girls' Barbies a little too much, they enjoyed G.I. Joe. They didn't know at the time. We didn't know either. We were kids. The 80s were the greatest decade for everything. Incredible. G.I. Joe dropped. They were all different, and the uniforms were new and fresh, and the toys. You get those joints, and they had file cards on the back, like bios. Toys and cartoon characters didn't have bios. You sit there and read about the figures you were playing with. One, it made you want to read. Two, you knew nothing about military codes and ranks, but you was learning. And shout outs to everyone who cut out their file cards and lost them or ripped them and they're pissed now. The artwork on the packages was dope. G.I. Joe is the closest thing we had to soap operas. What made them dope? They carried stories over, from show to show and episodes. They had relationships and different personalities. You could follow, you could decide who you liked and who you hated, And Cobra were terrorists. Like before terrorists were terrorists. Like it was, terrorist organization wants to rule the world. All right, cool. Like they gave us brand new Nazis and we didn't know or pay attention. The cartoon was a must-see. It was must-see TV after school. They had many movies, had the Mass Device. Like, look, the show started and it was, hey, Cobra is, trying to do this. Let's stop him. Not, hey, my name's Duke. And I like, long walks on the beach. There was no introductions, no extra crap. They just interacted with each other like they've been battling, and we was just brought in on it. They just let us see. It was like, this is what's going down. Then they had the Weather Dominator. Like Cobra had the best plots ever, and these shows were like 4 and 5 part episodes. We'd be at school like, part 2's coming on today. I gotta get home. I can't be fucking hanging out at the water fountain with your bum ass or walking some lame chick who's not gonna let me snap her bra. Training bras. Walk her home. I gotta get home and catch up on my Joes. And then the cartoon would come on and they'd catch you up with like previews like previously on. This is nothing now. But in the 80s, that was unheard of for a cartoon. It wasn't, the Smurfs weren't like, last episode on the Smurfs. Smurfette was shaving Papa Smurf's beard and gave him a goatee, a Smurf tee. Bygones. You'd think they just make like the live action movie based on one of the miniseries, Master Vice, Pyramid of Darkness. It's a built-in trilogy. It's already written. We already got the characters, but no, we need The Rock and Magic Mike. Anyway, you had characters who were good, who were bad, and who were Zartan and Tomax and Zaymot, who really didn't care either way. Like, Tomax and Zaymot were businessmen. They had a front company. They were in Cobra. G.I. Joe sometimes knew, sometimes they didn't know. So I guess sometimes it was just like, we can't arrest them. They didn't care. Like acrobats backflipping out of 30-story buildings. Whatever, it's great. And Zartan, that toy came out and people lost their mind. It changed colors in the sunlight. And look, for once and for all, here's the answer. Cartoon Zartan, it's hair. The figures, the comic books, everything else, it's a hood. I'm just saying, in the cartoon, it's hair. I know it's supposed to be a hood, but the artist, artwork, whatever, the color guy, he wanted to give him a lace front. So that's it. Cartoon, he has long, luxurious hair, and everywhere else he has a hood, he's bald head. Anyway, Cobra Commander, always be my favorite guy. He was hilarious. He had power. Even when he fucked up, he was still in power, and they, mostly still respected him. He had the cool ass look. No one looked like that. When toys dropped, when the cartoons dropped, nobody looked like that. And the voice, you didn't know what he looked like under the mask. You didn't know his name. You didn't know anything. You couldn't even buy him in the store. That's how dope he was. And the Baroness, she's just a piece of ass. So is Lady J. Scarlet, nobody cares about Scarlet. But the ultimate, nobody cares about Cover Girl. The Dreadnoks, comic relief. It was great. Storm Shadow. They had a ninja. They had a ninja who wore all white. And he was a bad guy. Like, number one, he didn't wear all black. He wore all white as a bad. Just incredible. I like the guys who lurked in the back, though, and did dirt, like Firefly and Major Blood. They didn't get enough burn on the show. They were dope. Man, hilarious plots. They had a G.I. Joe movie being filmed with real G.I. Joes, and Cobra showed up. They had animal mind control. Cobra threatened an oil leak in the Middle East using a sound machine. Cobra destroyed all the money in the mint and printed their own Cobra currency.
Cobra has found it necessary to restructure your nation's economy. We have begun by eliminating the worthless green paper, which your government has deceived you into believing is valuable. Citizens of the United States, I am pleased to announce Cobra's Economic Recovery Plan. If you want money to buy food for your children, take all your valuables to the nearest branch of Extensive Enterprises. There, all goods will be exchanged for Cobra currency.
They made an earthquake to destroy Japan. They made fake UFOs and tried to take over DC and Russia while everybody panicked over alien invasion. Oh, kinds of crazy off the wall plans. And then they made a guy. They just conjured up a whole ass guy. Old fruit booty dressed Dr. Mindbender stole DNA and made a man. Like, that was the beginning of the end, but it happened. The back and forth between Cobra Commander and Destro, and then Serpentor, Cobra Commander, that was always fun. Like, really, the show was all Cobra. For me, the Joes were lame. Anytime they tried to give the Joes their own episode, it would just end up stupid, like the Viper is coming. Seriously. And I won't mention the DIC series or any of the way worse things that came after that. You would think that a show and its properties that are so beloved would have lasted like 5-6 seasons, right? Nope, it lasted 2. And 2 things ruined G.I. Joe: Sergeant Slaughter and Cobra La. I don't know what that awful wrestler did to get him plastered all over G.I. Joe, but it was terrible. Like, he wasn't even a good wrestler. He wasn't. It could have been Hulk Hogan. It could have been Macho. Fuck, it could have been Coco Beware and Frankie could have been on Cobra to go up against Shipwreck and Polly. It could have been anything. But fucking Sergeant Slaughter. Nobody feared Sergeant Slaughter. It could have been Iron Sheik, which would be hilarious now. Anyway, the toys were mainstays. Everybody had G.I. Joe figures. You cannot have enough G.I. Joe figures. To this day, you cannot have enough G.I. Joe figures. Like, my favorite Cobra figures, top 5. The Viper. That's the blue and red uniform Viper. Love that figure. That's number 1. Then Crimson Guard. Dope. I like them because in real life they were extra smart and top shelf athletes. And then like the whole red outfit, you didn't see that. Like, that dropped and went crazy. Then 3rd, we go with Cobra Commander. And to keep it honest, we'll say both helmet and hood and never battle armor, ever. It's the worst thing they ever did, except for Cobra La. Number 4, my 4th favorite figure all time, Snow Serpent. People sleep on that figure. The colors was dope. He had the snowshoes. He had the snowshoes, a grenade launcher, and an AK. Can't fuck with the snow serpent. And 5, we'll lump Tomax's Amon together because the twins was dope. You know, and it's my list. So those are my favorite. Now my favorite figures is that my favorite characters would be a little different, you know, because they ain't like let the Viper and the Crimson Guard talk too much. I like the Joes too. I don't hate the Joes like I did most good guys in cartoons. Most of them I did, but my top 5 figures for the good guys be Barbecue, Beachhead, Alpine, Snow Job, and Snake Eyes. I'm not in love with Snake Eyes like everybody else, but the figure is dope. The cartoon though, you know, you gotta go with Blood, the twins, Cobra Commander, Zartan, Firefly, Destro, the Baroness, Lady J. Yeah, dope people. And the DIC series the Dick series, did give the Crimson Guard some love, so I give them a little props there. Now, I hated Quick Kick. He was doing impersonations, and he was useless. I hated Serpentor because he took over from a man. I didn't really like Snake Eyes. Yeah, I said it. I did like the breakdancing though. I didn't like Spirit. Hated Spirit. Polly was annoying. And Wild Bill, he didn't like black people. Wild Bill was never on a mission with Roadblock and Alpine, and he didn't want Doc to touch him if he got hurt. I'm just saying. The movie was cool until Cobra La. They ruined my man. He came back, but it was never the same. And the live action movie totally screwed up every storyline and piece of continuity I had from my childhood. But oddly enough, even though technically it sucked mutt balls as a G.I. Joe movie, I could stand it. It wasn't as childhood rapey as Bay's Transformers. Anyway, I'm gonna stop. Today's show, we're gonna talk the class of 85, 82, 83, 84, and 86, and 87, and 88. The G.I. Joes, the cartoons, and the toys. Jake Corduroy and I are going to talk what we loved and give out some yearbook awards. It'll be fun. Yeah, we'll be back.
G.I. Joe will return after these messages.
Destro, noble Destro, welcome.
What is this urgent matter that requires my immediate attention?
Oh, forget about that for a sec, Destro. Sit down. You've been working tirelessly all day on that weather dominator. No doubt you require a little R&R.
What I require is no further interruptions until the weather dominator device is complete.
Why are you so angry? Calm down.
My time is limited.
You best remember who is financing your little project, because soon my weather dominator will eradicate G.I. Joe and bring the free world to its knees.
And?
And then the world will be ruled by Cobra.
I see. And just why, Commander, do you feel that Cobra is the organization best suited to control the entire world?
What? Because Cobra must rule. Cobra is powerful. Cobra is strong. I created Cobra. I was but 4 years old when I realized that I could run the world better than the morons in charge. How dare you insult me with that question? Fuck you, Destro.
Very well then, Commander. Obviously, your summoning me here is a childish farce, and I must now return to oversee completion of the marvelous device you have purchased. I do not wish to be disturbed any further.
Come on, Destro, don't leave. Sit back and relax and enjoy the pleasantries that Cobra can provide for you. Look at this, a fucking turkey dinner. I can't wait to eat. Destro, would you like to sit down to this wonderful turkey dinner?
No, I have work to do.
Well, then what the fuck are you going to eat?
I don't care. I can order pizza or something. It doesn't matter.
Pizza?
There is work to be done, Commander. Perhaps you can afford the time to bask in gratuitous accoutrements, but my responsibilities require uninterrupted attention.
Oh, come on. I got the big screen up and everything. Destro.
Bah,
Come on.
I don't have time for this, Commander. I'll notify you when we're ready to conduct the test.
Oh, what a fucking pod pooper. You used to be fun, Destro. What the fuck's on TV?
Now back to G.I. Joe.
Welcome back to the show. It's the EDP, hashtag in front. Looks like tic-tac-toe. Never mind that. At this point, I would like to introduce my guest. He's been on the show before. He injured Major Blood in a spitball fight. That's the reason for the eye patch. He once spilled grape juice on Storm Shadow. That did not come out. The head dealer at the Charlie Iron Knife Casino in Springfield. Mr. Hero Clicks. JC, J. Corduroy. Welcome to the show.
What's up, E? Thank you so much for having me back.
Hey, I had to have you back. We had such a good time on the first show.
We did.
You know, so season 2.
We gonna go into any conspiracy theories about G.I. Joe this time, like we did about Mario Brothers? Or we good?
They just might. I think I could come up with a couple.
Okay.
But we might. Mr. Corduroy helped with one of the most popular and favorite shows by a lot of people, the Mario Brothers stalker / drug addict / acid induced podcast. But we're back and we're gonna do G.I. Joe. We're gonna talk G.I. Joe and we're gonna do some yearbooks, some class of '85.
All right.
G.I. Joe yearbooks. But before we get to that, G.I. Joe by itself, everyone loves G.I. Joe, and if they don't love G.I. Joe, they're probably not listening to the show. Who are some of your favorite characters on the cartoon?
G.I. Joe! You incompetent steelhead! Your bungling has cost me dearly!
Premature panic is the sign of an immature mind. I have mastered the device. Coordinates locked, temperature perfect. There.
On the cartoon, first and foremost, Storm Shadow. I loved Storm Shadow. He's one of my favorites. It's mostly the bad guys. I like Destro, Zartan, Zorana, Xandar, Tomax and Zaymot, Firefly.
You like the later Dreadnoughts, huh?
Oh yeah. I love the Dreadnoughts. The Nox were my favorite. It's they're the reason I ended up buying the big multi-pack that Big Bad Toy Store had, the exclusive of the Dreadnoughts last year. I didn't have the money and my wife didn't want me to, but I did anyway.
All right. So Dreadnoughts, Storm Shadow, yeah, okay.
And then from the Joe side, Joe side didn't have a whole lot of people I really liked. I liked kind of the weirder ones. Everyone likes Flint and Lady J, but I liked Quick Kick, I liked Wetsuit, Jinx. Those were probably the ones I liked the most from the cartoon.
How could you like Quick Kick?
He was just so ridiculous, and it was kind of, he's kind of a badass to go into a gunfight with just no shoes on. He's got like sensible pants. That's all he's got.
Yes, a nice pair of sensible pants.
And some kind of, like, a sash?
Yeah, like he was Mr. Iron Chef America, and he has a sash with thorn stars in it.
I like cuisine. Tonight's secret ingredient is ass-kicking.
Nice. I'm sorry, Storm Shadow, but you've been chopped. I said I didn't like that guy because of all the stupid impressions and stuff he did on the show. Like, shut up.
Oh Oh man, I forgot about that.
Yeah, he was doing Humphrey Bogart and stuff.
Oh Jesus, yeah, no, he might actually be coming off the list. I forgot all about that.
Yeah.
That's a repressed memory you brought back on me, man.
I apologize.
That's all right.
What about least favorite? So I guess you're gonna hit a lot of G.I. Joes.
Well, there was two main ones from G.I. Joe that I just didn't like, and one, you can probably figure it out with me being a Storm Shadow fan. I wasn't a Snake Eyes fan.
Listen, ladies and gentlemen, this might be the only other person on the planet besides me who's not a Snake Eyes fan. I'm not a Snake Eyes fan either, but to everybody else, he's like G.I. Joe Beyonce. Everyone is Snake Onse. He's everyone else is Snake Eye apologist. They love him. He could do no wrong. He's probably going to perform at next year's Super Bowl, breakdancing. I'm glad to hear that.
I just never liked him. I mean, it was, the cartoon and the comic were really different. In the comic he was pretty cool, but in the cartoon it's just this mute guy in a ski mask. I mean, why would you have him on your special forces team?
Exactly.
He points and you do whatever he says. All right, I guess. But no, he just wasn't my thing. But my least favorite Joe was Duke.
He's just too plain.
He was so vanilla, man. It's just, yo, Joe, here we go. He was so boring. None of his episodes were ever good.
You got a point. He was G.I. Joe Ken doll.
Yeah, he was. He absolutely was.
Okay, I could definitely see that. Any Cobra guys you didn't like?
Yeah, Cobra Commander.
All right. So thank you for coming out. Thank you for listening to the show, everybody. Appreciation.
Yeah, and I knew that was going to be a controversial statement on your show, but man, it was. I just never got into him. I was always a Destro guy. I always liked Destro more. Destro had that big ass collar and that disco medallion with the giant ruby on it. Destro knew what he was there for.
Yeah, pimping the hose.
Exactly.
Don't they realize they're dealing with Destro?
And Cobra Commander just screamed and cowered. That's all he ever did.
Coward. It was due to the incompetence of his soldiers and followers. That guy had plans. All right, you got to give him this. He had kick-ass plans.
Oh, he had elaborate, unbelievable plans.
Oh, at least give my man that.
Picture perfect example of what a supervillain is.
Yeah, okay. So at least we can agree somewhere, but...
Oh, absolutely.
All right. Wow. Cobra Commander.
Yep.
That is disheartening. You were my favorite Jay Corduroy up until then. Any others you didn't like?
Ironically, since I deal out of his casino, I'm not a big fan of Spirit. It's real interesting if you sit back and look at it as an adult. And I watched a couple episodes getting prepared for this.
Mm-hmm.
You realize exactly how racially insensitive the G.I. Joe cartoon was.
It was terrible.
Oh, it was awful. It was awful. Spirit was just a walking stereotype. So was Storm Shadow, despite the fact that I loved him. I mean, we brought it up on the last episode, the vaguely racist whisper.
Yes.
It's just terrible. Absolutely terrible. And I didn't like Falcon. Falcon was just a cheap knockoff of Flint.
Oh, definitely. I wish to erase him from my memory.
Absolutely.
And it was basically the Duke and Flint show.
Mm-hmm.
And then they brought in Hulk. And then it's like the way they brought in Hulk, it was like, okay, well, he must be under Duke and Flint then. It was like, but no.
Yeah, he was in charge, but it never felt like that.
Never.
Because it was always, we should do this, but what do you guys think? Because I'll totally defer to you.
Yes.
Worst general ever.
Hands down, point blank, period. Okay. Favorite episodes of the show?
All right, I'm going to take the Weather Dominator and the Mass Device out of it. The 5-parters that kind of kicked off the whole thing, because those were just fantastic.
Of course.
I really liked the Cold Slither episode, not to suck up too much, but, just fantastic. It's a Dreadnought episode. How could I not like it?
Good point.
Let's see, what else did I like? The Viper is Coming.
Of course.
How could you not?
It's a very, very classic episode, but it does point out one major thing that I always said about the show.
What's that?
If it's a G.I. Joe centric episode, it's never as good.
Oh, absolutely not.
Yeah.
Not even close.
It's like they gave them like a solo show. It's like, okay, it's not necessarily about Cobra at all, even though a couple of guys showed up, and it was just like, it's more of a cult classic than a great episode.
Yeah, I mean, it's just one of those things where you remember it, where it's, you know, he's Mr. Barbecue, I am the Viper. It's like, oh, okay, I get it. But, you know, it was one of those episodes that it kind of sticks out to you, where it's like, how poor is it, how poorly organized is that show, or is that group, when they can be taken out by Barbecue saying, I've basically got a bad feeling about this.
I ain't never got gaffle like that. I used to do the gaffle.
Yes.
Yeah, it was.
And what was Scarlett doing in charge?
I have no idea. She never should have been in charge. But I mean, how do you let that happen? How do you go into a town in Middle America, put a special forces team with tanks and mortars and cannons and laser weapons and advanced guidance weaponry and all this other stuff on the street corner because one guy got a phone call?
Hello?
Mr. Barbecue, this is the Viper.
The Viper? I couldn't have heard you right. What'd you say?
The Viper is coming.
Yes.
And not to mention it was Barbecue, so it's not even like it's one of your important guys. It's some guy with a fire fetish.
Oh, fish-eyed fool.
Good point. I agree completely. But it's a cult classic.
But I think everyone's favorite episode, Skeletons in the Closet.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. There's two major reasons for that. It's the episode where every boy that watched it became a man.
Yes. The people, you have to, if you haven't seen this episode, how do we say? How do we put this in there?
It was fairly racy for a kids show in the 80s.
If you follow my Twitter and if you've been to my website, the little pink number. Have you seen the G.I. Joe Facebook post? Lady J and the little pink number. It's ridiculous. And the Baroness in her blonde disguise. It's great. All around great. That is the episode. Isn't that also the episode where Alpine had a G.I. Joe black card?
Yep.
Like, why does Alpine have a G.I. Joe black card? Great episode. Yes, I agree completely.
Yeah, it's just ridiculous. You know, there's the creature that's in the lava or whatever it was at the bottom, and it's just ridiculous.
Yeah, wasn't Man Spider? you make a cameo in that. Yeah, that was a great episode.
Yeah, definitely.
All right. So how were you introduced to G.I. Joe? Like, do you remember sitting down from the beginning, or did you get in the middle? Was it did you come home from school and just plop yourself down? Was it a ritual to get ready to watch G.I. Joe? How did it go down?
See, for me, I actually came to the cartoon after the toys.
Okay.
It was something where I started buying the toys, and then I found out there was a cartoon about it.
Really?
Yeah, I had no idea. I mean, I was all about He-Man at the time. I had no idea that G.I. Joe even existed. Ironically, I didn't really know about the He-Man toys. I just liked the cartoon. So I was a backwards kid.
Yeah, what was going on in the Corduroy household?
Yeah, it's just the way it was, man. But up in Massachusetts where I lived, Fox 25 out of Boston broadcast down where my house was in Fall River at 6 o'clock in the morning. Every day, G.I. Joe was on. And I remember waking up early. I think I was sick or something like that. And I just got up and I turned the TV on, and there was Sergeant Slaughter. Say what you will. but to 6-year-old little JC, wrestling hero Sergeant Slaughter's on his TV. I knew who Sergeant Slaughter was. I had to watch what he was selling.
Okay, good point.
So it was the he was doing live action introductions, and it was never freaking. Fox 25 was backwards back then. They just took the intros and slapped them on whatever. So I think he was introducing the movie or something like that, and it ended up being just regular episodes they would slap it on. So what he was saying had nothing to do with the episode. But I watched it, and from then on I was hooked. Every morning, 6 o'clock in the morning, I'd get up and I'd watch G.I. Joe before school.
Nice.
Yep.
Yeah, Sergeant Slaughter has to be one of my least favorites. Like, my least favorites would be like Sergeant Slaughter, Snake Eyes, and what else? Oh, I hate Quick Kick. Obviously, I hate Quick Kick.
Sure.
And I didn't like Spirit because why was Spirit always the one fighting Storm Shadow? It should have been, the matchup should have been Quick Kick or Snake Eyes, but it was always Spirit versus. Remember when Storm Shadow got Excalibur?
Yes. They about halfway through the production of that show, they just ran out of ideas, and they just started throwing shit at the wall and say, let's do this. Let's have Storm Shadow find Excalibur. That'll work. Why not?
Yeah. At least we never got the the Transformers on there.
True. What was the episode where they went back in time to ancient Greece, and they thought they were gods? G.I. Joe and the Golden Fleece. It was terrible.
They definitely ran out of ideas.
Yes.
But on a episode of Transformers, Cobra Commander did show up.
Yeah, he did, didn't he?
Yeah, he actually did show up. So that was kind of cool.
Okay.
Because I'm a Cobra Commander fan, unlike some people. Okay. So, in your opinion, when did G.I. Joe just go bad?
All right. Okay, so as a kid, it went bad around the time Sunbow stopped making it. Right at G.I. Joe the movie.
Okay.
Because that was just terrible. Anytime you're introducing crazy supernatural stuff into something that was at least somewhat grounded in reality up to that point, you've jumped the shark, and the movie killed it, and then Deke taking it over was terrible. As an adult, was it ever really good?
Yes, it was. How dare you imply?
Go back and watch it. The first episode, I'm gonna knock the mustard out of that crazy hot dog. That's like the worst dialogue ever. I mean, granted, it was from Duke, so that's probably pretty advanced for him, but
good point.
It's so hard to watch now as an adult. I mean, I put it on for my kid. My kid enjoys it, but I can't in good conscience look at it and say, oh yeah, I loved it as a kid. It's the same thing as Voltron.
Well, Voltron does not have as much replayability as G.I. Joe. See, at least G.I. Joe has those episodes like, Pyramid of Darkness and Weather Dominator and Massive Ice and all of those where you can get into the plot, you can get into seeing your characters interact with each other, and you get into the idea of it. Now, the execution and the bad aim and the logic holes in a lot of it. Yeah, as an adult, you're like, really? Why don't you just kill him then? Okay.
You got a sword. Run up and stab that motherfucker. He can't shoot you.
Yeah. Or so you're shooting a whole bunch of lasers at this lady, and you don't hit her, and she throws a spear and knocks down your helicopter.
Man, don't get me started on the javelin. How in the hell are you going to let someone go out into the field of battle with a damn javelin?
With 7 of them on her back.
Yeah, and it's not even like a rocket-powered javelin. She's got to throw the damn thing.
And somehow she's throwing it hard enough to pierce tanks.
Yeah. I mean, Lady J was no joke, don't get me wrong. But she ain't throwing hard enough to pierce the tank.
And blow them up. Or they'll get captured. And of course, it'll be like, well, I'm just gonna leave you here in this room by yourself, and they just get out. Or I'll make you fight each other. Or the one episode where they were in, Vegas, and Destro and the Baroness put 2 of the G.I. Joes on a giant roulette wheel.
Oh God, I forgot about that.
Like, you could just shoot them. No.
Yeah, no. Go with the death trap. That's more interesting. Kids love the death trap.
Oh my god. The
That said, though, when I was a kid, all that stuff, I wanted that stuff as a playset for my action figures, and I never got it.
oh hell yeah.
I would have loved a giant roulette wheel to strap my Joes down onto.
That was the thing about G.I. Joe. G.I. Joe is hands down the greatest property ever. I mean, it was the closest thing that we had to a soap opera. Because if you think about all the other cartoons, all the things that came out, you know, it was okay. Well, this is the leader of this person, and then you have your muscle, your fast person, and your female, and then they go battle something, or if it has some kind of like the Flintstones or something. But this one, you had these people were dating, and everybody had code names, and they had specific skills, and everybody had a different look, and things would carry over from one episode to another, which almost never happened in cartoons. So it was be like, yeah, well, last episode when this guy stole this, so we got to go get that first. I'm like, oh yeah, that did happen, before you actually felt like you were part of it.
You know, another thing about it too, and this kind of, and this just came to me as we're talking here. It's pretty remarkable that this was really the first fully integrated racially cartoon.
Yeah.
You know, because you look at it before. I mean, you had Voltron, all white kids, and pretty much everything was divided along racial lines at that point. And this was the first fully integrated cast. And man, it blows my mind. Yeah, that's pretty advanced.
and they didn't make a point to even bring it up. It was just like, well, yeah, this is what's happening. This is Roadblock, and this is Quick Kick, and yeah, and we got women here.
Yeah.
And we got a brunette, we got a blonde, we got a redhead, we got a Russian chick.
Yep.
We got punk rockers. Yeah, everybody. Yeah, incredible. That's why G.I. Joe is incredible.
I wholeheartedly agree. I'm glad I stumbled across that thought.
Yeah.
And lucidity at 10 o'clock at night. That's fantastic.
And the other cool thing, and I said this earlier, is that when you first get into it, like the very first episode off top, it wasn't like how they spoon feed shows to people now, or even kind of back then, where they say, well, this is Duke, he's the such and such and such, or they introduce, well, this is Coach. It was just like, okay, well, we know these people are doing this, let's go get them. It was like they just let us into the world. It's like, we've been fighting them for years, so this is just what we do.
Yeah, catch up, kids.
Yeah, you little assholes. And we'll teach you something at the end of the show. Okay, so I agree that the movie, and anyone that knows me or listens to the show that knows that I don't acknowledge this movie too much. Cobra La ruined my childhood.
Man, okay, so there's an important distinction. The movie absolutely exists because it's such a touchstone moment for so many people from our generation, where they realize that something you love can utterly disappoint you.
That is true.
Something that you just adore with all of your heart and soul can let you down with like 100% let you down. There's nothing good about that movie. Nothing.
Not really, I don't know.
They take Roadblock, the biggest badass on the team, they make him blind so he can't fight. That should have been our first clue that something was wrong. The wheels had come off the train here. Cobra Commander's turned into a snake. There's a guy with a snake tail and a guy that can fly. No, too much.
That really hurt my whole life. I'm like, Cobra, how do you make him a snake? It was like there's no coming back from that. And they tried to come back from that, but the damage was done.
And you look at it this way. I mean, they had already set us up for expectations that were huge with Transformers the movie. Transformers the movie is amazing. Optimus dies. Hot Rod becomes Rodimus Prime. It's fantastic. Everything hits on all cylinders on it. And G.I. Joe the movie does not.
No.
Not even a little bit.
No, and it wasn't even the cash grab that they should have could have done. Like, and on the Transformers, when it was like, okay, well now kids, you got to go buy Blur and Hot Rod and Rodimus and all these, but like the Cobra La figures, who wants that shit? Or and the worst thing that they ever did to Cobra Commander, the battle armor.
Oh, so bad. So bad. The only armor Cobra Commander should ever have is a helmet with a chrome mask. That's it.
Exactly. This guy understands. Yeah. And they and Destro started having different color chrome on his head.
Man, gold Destro is just a bad idea. Just a bad idea. If he can afford to gold plate his head, he doesn't need to be working with a terrorist organization.
He does have those wrist rockets.
Exactly. He doesn't. So bad. I mean, granted, that gave us some pretty cool action figures out of it.
That's true.
You know, the gold-faced Destro with the sword and the cape, that was pretty awesome. But
yeah, but they didn't do us any favors. What was your opinion on Serpentor?
Hated him.
Yes, this is why he's on the show. We're gonna ignore that other slander that he was doing earlier, but now he's back.
So for everything that I disliked about Cobra Commander, I at least respected what he was doing.
Yeah.
Because there was no bones about it. He was the villain. He was the bad guy. He wasn't terribly good at what he did, but he was the bad guy. Serpentor, he wasn't the bad guy. He tried to be, but all he was just some guy who I mean, he wasn't even a guy. He was a lab experiment.
Yes. Exactly.
He had lab experiment, anger management issues, yelled all the time, and let's not forget, he's responsible for Cobra la 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 la. That's unforgivable.
Very unforgivable. Yeah. I'm glad that you agree here. We have like minds here on the ADP. Now, the second reason why I had you here on the show is we're gonna go yearbook mode with G.I. Joe. We're gonna go class of 85, 86, 87, and 88. And when you're in grade school, some people, and when you're in high school, your yearbooks, you have yearbook awards. And what I figured we'd do is just for fun, assign some yearbook awards to our favorite and least favorite G.I. Joe characters.
Okay.
So let's start it off.
All right.
We open up a yearbook. The G.I. Joe Generation 1 class is graduating. Least likely to succeed.
Snake Eyes, because the motherfucker can't talk. You can't get ahead in life if you can't deliver a positive message. And if you want to be a success, that means you got to be a leader. And being a leader means you got to talk in front of your team and you got to rally the troops. But Snake Eyes is going to glare at you and gesture menacingly. No one's going to follow that.
I agree. I like it.
Now, for every least likely to succeed, there's got to be a most likely to succeed.
Okay.
And I think we both agree that that's going to be Destro.
Yes.
He's got the money. He's got the power. He's already got a successful arms manufacturing company.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he can walk away right now and be the most successful man on the planet.
And he had arguably the baddest chick in the game.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah, so he was winning a long time ago, and he will continue to succeed.
Mm-hmm.
He had the hottest girl at the lunch table. Okay. Most disappointing action figure.
This one's tough because there's a lot. It's real easy to kind of put emotion into it and say anything from the Cobra La guys, you know, the Galomulus, Nemesis Enforcer. But as action figures, those are actually kind of cool and kind of advanced. So, I gotta go with Deep Six.
Deep Six? He had the giant bubble on his head.
Yeah, the giant bubble on his head, no articulation, his arms kind of moved up and down. It was awful.
Shout out to the shark.
Yeah.
Yeah, he looked like
Twiggy?
Yeah, he looked like Twiggy.
Yep. Absolutely.
Okay. I think I know where you're gonna go here, but we're gonna see.
Okay.
Best dressed.
I'm not gonna go where you think I'm gonna go.
Okay.
So, I've watched some Project Runway.
Yeah, me too.
And I think the secret, and we all know this, the secret to making an outfit work is to wear it with confidence. Correct?
Yes.
My answer is gung ho.
Gung ho.
And here's why.
All right.
Anyone that can rock blue and navy blue camo pants, combat boots, a cut-off denim jacket, an army hat, and a Marine Corps tattoo on his chest.
Yeah, shirtless.
Has the biggest set of titanium balls on the planet.
Now, I can see how you would go there, but if you're gonna go with having the balls to wear something, you can't look past Dr. Mindbender.
Oh wow, yeah, no, that's true. That was a velvet cape too.
And metal suspenders,
Yep.
leggings, and a cod piece.
And a monocle.
And a
Yeah, Dr. Mindbender's a good choice. I mean, you know, there's certain people that'll never appear on the list. Serpentor, absolutely not. Destro's up there.
yeah, I thought that's where you would go.
I was close, but no, can't do it. None of the Dreadnoks will ever be on there because that's not really getting dressed. It's just rolling out of your filth.
Yeah, in the swamp.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. So that's a nice segue into most questionable fashion choices.
This one hurts me because there's two of my favorite characters here, and what they wear is just ridiculous. And it's Chuckles and Sci-Fi. Chuckles, I can say and speak with as many platitudes as I want about how badass Chuckles must be to walk into a firefight wearing a Hawaiian shirt, but it's just a terrible choice. It's a terrible decision.
On every level.
On every single possible level. And for Sci-Fi, neon green when you're going out into potentially a dark area, not a good choice.
No.
Not a good choice at all.
Unless he was in the Sharpie brigade. Yeah, there's no reason for that to happen.
Yeah, exactly.
Shouts to Howie Decker. I think he's a big sci-fi fan.
He's a huge Sci-Fi fan.
Yeah, and unless it's a questionable fashion choices. We'll leave it at that.
Absolutely.
Okay. Yearbook Award for Best Fighter.
So, the easy answer is to go with Snake Eyes, because I think he won more fights. You could even go with Spirit because apparently he fought more fights than Snake Eyes ever did. But I mean, really, it's Storm Shadow.
Exactly.
Yeah, best fighter, hands down. Could wipe the floor with Snake Eyes anytime he wanted to. Just chose not to.
Exactly.
At least that's the story I'm sticking to.
I agree with you there. Now, some people might go with Shipwreck.
Yeah, Shipwreck was a good fighter. He was kind of kind of like the Big Show. He had that one punch knockout.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Shipwreck was that's more of a drunken rage than a good fighter. You know, I think you take the booze out of him and he's not going to be doing too much.
You know what? You're absolutely right. As very prevalent in G.I. Joe and Cobra fights, the Yearbook Award for Worst Aim.
Well, I mean, obviously it's the generic guys. I mean, the Cobra Troopers, Cobra Vipers.
You leave my Vipers out of this.
And they're my Vipers too, man. I love the Vipers, but you know, I think though the honor for that there's one for each side.
Okay.
For Cobra, you got to give it to the Bats.
Oh yeah.
They're programmed to be killing machines, and they can't hit anything. That's inexcusable.
And they take all the fire.
All of it. They just wander out in the middle of the field and open fire and hit nobody. Absolutely nobody. And on G.I. Joe, it's anybody who's driving a vehicle. Doesn't matter who it is. If you're in charge of a vehicle, you will shoot and you will miss by at least 3 or 4 miles.
That is also factually accurate. Okay. Most likely to appear on Catfish.
Oh, wow. Okay, as the person laying the bait, I think you could make a case for CoverGirl. You could make a case for really anyone from Counterintelligence, Chuckles, Scarlet, anyone like that.
Mm-hmm.
But there's only one G.I. Joe member who spends every waking minute with a computer, and it's Mainframe. You want to tell me he doesn't have fake profiles, fake Facebook profiles set up for every single member of the Joe team?
Interacting with him by himself. He's making his own conversations.
You know he does. And the one guy he's duped?
Bazooka.
Exactly.
And he's somewhere. Alpine's like, I don't know if she's real, Bazooka.
You're a dumb motherfucker, Bazooka.
He's blowing bubble gum. Next episode of Catfish. Okay. Now this one could be very easy if you go chalk. Best dancer.
I'm going a little outside of the box on this one.
Okay.
Excuse me. It's got to be the kid having the seizure in the Fensler film videos, right?
Look at all the people. Billy, what's the matter? Billy! My friend passed out. Help me get him up.
I mean, is there any question?
Special write-in vote, ladies and gentlemen.
I mean, seriously, is there anyone better? I mean, he falls down, he gets up, he falls down, slow, quick, slow, quick, slow. He's got every move in the book.
Oh my god. Yes, the Fensler film, PSA, ladies and gentlemen. Seizure.
Yep.
Did he have a kid? I mean, did he have a name?
I have no idea. Probably Johnny or something like that. I mean, all the Fensler film stuff was always Johnny or Jimmy or something like that.
He does have the moves. He defies gravity, this kid.
Absolutely. He's got superpowers. He's a superpowered dancer.
Yeah, for the people that really enjoyed Michael Jackson's lean on Smooth Criminal, he has nothing.
Michael learned it all from this kid.
Yes. He has nothing on that kid. Oh my god. Okay. The funniest or class clown.
I think probably Shipwreck, just because everyone loves a good funny drunk. You know? Yeah, and make no mistake, he's 100% an alcoholic.
Oh, definitely.
I mean, well, he's in the Navy. He kind of has to be, right? But yeah, I would say probably Shipwreck. If not Shipwreck, then maybe one of the Dreadnoughts.
Definitely one of the. Shouts to Candy Mint. Breath Mint or Candy Mint.
Cobra Commander, summoning Zartan.
What is it this time, Cobra Commander?
Two of my Strato Vipers lost this, the MacGuffin device. I must get it back at any cost. Your dreadnoughts must leave immediately.
That may be a problem.
Breath mint! Oh, candy mint!
Breath mint!
Oh, candy mint! Breath mint!
Candy mint!
It appears, Commander, they're engaged in weighty philosophical debate.
Jesus. Okay. Cutest couple.
I mean, probably Destro and the Baroness, but Flint and Lady J could be made a case too.
Now, when you watch the show, didn't you? Well, maybe it's just me. You automatically would assume they went Duke, Lady J, and Flint and Scarlet, but it didn't go that way. Was it just me?
I think at first it kind of felt that way, but there were because I mean there was an episode where I think they were piloting Sky Strikers through the middle of Manhattan, and Duke freaks out because Lady J goes off his radar for a second. So yeah, and it kind of felt that way, but you know, I think it just kind of leaned more towards Flint and Lady J as the series went on. I mean, and why wouldn't it? Flint was awesome. Duke's an idiot.
Yeah, Duke had zero game. He couldn't close the deal on anything.
No, absolutely not.
I thought the cutest couple could be Tomax and Zayla.
I'm Chris Hansen with Dateline NBC.
They're brothers. That's a little weird.
You ever seen Not G.I. Joe XXX? Yearbook award for most likely to think the window wiper is coming to kill him.
Okay, well, we kind of talked about this one already. I mean, the easy answer is barbecue, but it's got to be Scarlet and Hawk because they okayed the whole operation.
That is true.
You know, barbecue could have just as easily said, "Hey, I think there's something bad happening." Okay, nuke the place. What? No. Well, hold on. it's a complete and total overreaction by the chain of command at G.I. Joe headquarters.
Yeah, it was very, very bad. And the fact that the guy already knew that he called a window. And why is he calling a window? He only had one window.
Yeah. Was it that important?
Now, the window viper, as I call him, he should have took a little responsibility because he wasn't very detailed in this message.
Oh no, he certainly wasn't. But and let's not forget too. I mean, but he doesn't have to be too detailed. $5.75 an hour? That's a bargain.
That is true.
That's like $30 an hour nowadays.
Yeah, he can say what he wants. You're getting
Exactly.
the deal. Good point. Good point. Most likely to lose their DNA in a battle. Other than Sergeant Slaughter.
Okay. Shipwreck. But not for probably why you're thinking, but more likely because he went AWOL to go to the local whorehouse.
Yes. He's off the boat.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
The mere fact that they had a plot where they were stealing DNA.
It's what I learned. That's where I learned what DNA was, though. I'll say that much.
Good point. Good point. And they ran out and just said, "Fuck it, let's get Sergeant Slaughter." I hated Sergeant Slaughter. But anyway, Yearbook Award for worst nickname.
There's so many to choose from.
Run some down.
Snow Job. Just as a kid, completely over my head.
Oh, definitely.
By the time I was about 14, that's another story entirely. When I'm going, oh boy, you lost out. Let's see. Who else did I? What other nicknames were there? Quick Kick. Rhyming in a nickname's a bad idea.
Definitely.
Chuckles is a pretty bad nickname. I'll be honest about that. Captain Gridiron. No one believes that's your actual name. Dr. Mindbender's pretty bad. Crystal Ball. It's not intimidating.
No, not at all.
Is it Raptor? Raptar?
Oh, yeah.
Just terrible. But the worst, without question,
okay,
is Big Lob.
Yeah.
Couldn't call him Slam Dunk, Fast Break, Flagrant Foul. Anything would have been better than Big Lob.
Flagrant Foul. Ladies and gentlemen, call in Flagrant Foul.
It just...
Big Lob makes his move. Big Lob goes for the gold. Whoa! He cuts cross court, sidestepping the opposition. He executes a perfect 10 dive. The goal line is in sight. Great speed.
Oh, it's everything that's wrong with that movie. You know, it's let's bring in sports themed Joes. No, it didn't work for the fridge figure. It's not going to work in the movie.
No. Yeah.
Awful.
Yeah, definitely. Okay. Most likely to appear in porn.
CoverGirl.
CoverGirl. And you said that with so much hesitation, sir.
There's a reason she has her code name.
That is true. But she is the most blandest, forgotten about Joe, though.
Yep.
Like, it's Lady J and it's Scarlet, and then on the other side you got Baroness. And Cobra really should have had more women. But it's like, CoverGirl. She was plainer than Duke.
Yes. Which is why she has no future in the army and she would resort to a life of porn.
Daddy issues, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
The G.I. Joe brand new vehicle, Bang Bus.
Well, it would be the Armored Bang Bus, and BANG would be an acronym for something.
big ass something. And any other yearbook awards you can think of we need to dole out before we take a break?
Oh, let's see. Well, there's always the best personality superlative.
Oh, best personality. Yeah. Who would get best personality?
Geez, best personality. I mean, Scarlet was always kind of upbeat and positive, and she always gave Duke shit. So I'm going to give her the nod there.
I'm going to go Lady J.
Lady J's a solid choice.
Everyone loved her, and she was a little flirty.
That's true. That's very true. How about from Cobra?
Cobra, best personality would probably go to. Well, we can't go. No. There's some tough people over there on the Cobra side.
Yes, there are.
How about we go with? No, we can't go with them. Can't go Destro. And the Baroness, she could be a little bit of a bitch. I like Cobra Commander, but I can see why not. Storm Shadow, he's a little.
Let's go back to the Commander. I think the Commander's the solid choice here.
Yeah, see, I would go Cobra Commander.
Because I mean, you take out the fact that he's an evil super genius.
Mm-hmm.
That is a never say die attitude.
That is true.
He doesn't give up. He doesn't quit. He's got a goal, and he's going to try and succeed every single day. That's pretty admirable.
I agree.
I'm starting to come around on my whole Cobra Commander opinion here. I'm going to be honest with you.
You see that? I'm trying to tell you, some of his schemes, all of his schemes, most of his schemes, did not necessarily come to fruition.
True.
He had plans, and they almost always worked. Sometimes it's just bum luck. Like everything that he sent the guys out to do, and the Vipers comment would have worked had they G.I. Joes not stumbled upon what they were doing.
Oh yeah, but the Joes weren't any kind of like miraculous fighting force. They didn't have like the inner eye on everything that was going on. They got lucky.
Yeah. Somebody's code name should have been Dumb Luck.
Yes. Probably Breaker.
Oh, Breaker, no. And as far as worst, did we do a worst nickname? Yeah, we did worst nickname.
Yeah.
How about Stalker?
Yeah, boy, that's in today's parlance, that's a bad nickname to have.
Yeah.
I mean, back then it was kind of like, oh, he's creeping through the underbrush. He's a Marine. He's gonna find, or he's an Army Ranger. He's gonna find his prey. Now it's you're hiding in the bushes outside of Scarlett's apartment.
I'm Chris Hansen with Dateline NBC.
Looking through the windows, not cool, man.
Yeah, not cool at all. I think the least imaginative would be like Zap.
Yeah, Zap, Grunt. You know, the guy's a mechanic named Clutch. It's like, okay. Wild Bill. Boy, I've talked about racist.
Oh my God. Wild Bill would never go out on a mission with Stalker, Roadblock, and Quick Kick. He doesn't want any parts of that mission. Alpine, no, it's not happening.
I loved Alpine.
Alpine was dope. Alpine was like, he would get the Yearbook Award for Best Friend.
Yeah, I can agree with that. You know what else I liked about Alpine? Alpine was, another one of the Arctic troopers, but Alpine was one of those guys. I mean, he was the mountain survival expert, but he was always out on the Arctic missions.
Mm-hmm.
But he didn't resort to wearing the Arctic camo. He's like, no, I'm bad enough that I don't have to.
Exactly.
I'll wear the drab green and the black in the middle of the snow. I don't care.
You'll be able to find me.
Yeah.
Now, you know who else I hated? Lifeline.
Yeah, I liked Lifeline's toy.
Yeah.
I thought the action figure was pretty cool because he came with some great stuff, and the 30th anniversary update was pretty awesome. But in the cartoons and the comics, nah, not my thing.
He was such a bit. He'd be about to drown in molten lava, and the guy would like, here, grab my rifle to get. I don't touch guns. Mm-hmm. Then just die.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. Bye then. See ya. And I think the Yearbook award for most disturbed or most creepy will have to go to Lowlight.
Lowlight or Recondo.
Recondo's a good one too.
Anyone that hangs out just living in the jungle, I don't have time for that. I don't want to deal with it. I don't want to hear you talk. I don't want to be around you. You got some serious issues up in your head that I don't need to be a part of.
But see, the thing about Lowlight though is that every episode he was in, it was just about how disturbed he was.
That's true.
It was just he was afraid of the dark. His father used to do. His father might have been a KT. I don't know what was going on with good old Lowlight. Cooper McBride, I believe.
Yeah, I think that was. Yeah. He was that guy where it was, he was that one where the kid in high school you didn't want to associate with, but you always got stuck in like 4 classes with him. Yeah. He ended up being your lab partner one year, and it was just like, inevitably it was biology when you had to do dissections. And it's like, I know how to take apart a cat. I bet you do.
Exactly. Also, Yearbook for worst lab partner.
Yeah.
I think that's it for the Yearbook Awards. That's hilarious. What we're gonna do now, we're gonna take a break, and then we're gonna come back, and we're gonna do the fifth.
Can't wait.
Nice.
You could have a steam train if you just lay down your tracks. You could have an airplane flying if you bring your blue sky back. All you do is call me. I'll be anything you need.
G.I. Joe will return after these messages.
Well, listen, what more can I say about a guy who put Commander in his name? Hey, we get it. No, but seriously, you're a great Cobra Commander. You've always been there for me, and I appreciate it.
Hey, thanks for coming out, everybody. Baroness, I promise I'll make this quick so you can get back to sucking Destro's. I swear if he wore that helmet on his she'd have lead poison, am I right? Hey, Zaymod, I hear you experience everything Tomax does. I guess that means you know what my tastes like, too. I see you over there, Serpentor. Didn't Dr. Mindbender give you the memo? The hunt's over. You can stop gathering DNA. Nice outfit, by the way. If it were any louder, I'd have to wear earplugs when you suck my Gee, I wonder what he wanted to say. I want to bend your mind into letting me suck your Don't worry, I haven't forgotten about you, Cobra Commander. It is your night, after all. The ruthless terrorist organizer determined to suck my How dare you? Hey, is your voice okay? Let me get you something for your throat. My It's working.
Wow, Bill's disguise worked. We ruined Cobra Commander's roast.
All right.
Bill?
Start the van.
Now back to G.I. Joe.
Welcome back to the EDPs, the G.I. Joe Class of 85 show. Of course, EDP, hashtag in front. I'm here with Jay Corduroy, Mr. Hero Clicks himself, and it's time to hit the fifth.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Time for the fifth.
It's always an adventure going into the fifth.
The fifth is brought to you by Castle Destro House of Lingerie. Show up in one of their signature pink numbers and polish some dome. Your man won't know what hit him.
Fantastic.
Okay. So, we're talking G.I. Joe. Question number 1. The cartoon or the comics?
Comics.
Wow.
Yeah, I like the cartoon, but the comics are consistently good. I mean, even to this day, they're still really, really solid. And they didn't try and talk down to a kid.
Mhm.
You know, it was a war comic. I mean, there were just ninjas and laser guns as opposed to, you know, a special forces team and bullets. I mean, all you need is the silent issue. You know, that trumps anything that was done in any of the cartoons.
Well, this is something that most people didn't know. I have never, ever seen or read a G.I. Joe comic.
Really?
Ever. So what I did as recent as yesterday, as I procured all of the issues back from 01.
Okay.
So I have, I think the first series I got is 1 to 155 or something.
Mm-hmm.
And then I have some special missions, and I have the Transformers thing. So as of yesterday, I started with issue 1. I'm going to read them all in order.
Excellent.
I've never read them. I don't know anything that happens in them. So this is going to be brand new to me. So that's what's going on.
I'm interested to hear what you think about it as you go through it, because it's, you know, I recently, over the last year, the comic shop I work part-time at, I'll pick up a trade about once every 2 weeks, and I've gotten all of the classic G.I. Joe trades that IDW has put out.
Mm-hmm.
I've gotten all of them, and I've read through the entire series that they've reprinted, and it holds up to me.
Well, I hope that I have everything that I'm supposed to read, because I have Marvel. I have the Marvel ones that go from 1 to whatever the hell.
Yeah.
And then I have I got Marvel, Action Force, and I have G.I. Joe. Then I have G.I. Joe Dossier that is like 113 to 117. I got European missions, Order of Battle, special missions. I got then I have Dark Horse.
Mm-hmm. You can skip the Dark Horse.
Okay, because
that's pretty bad.
It said Extreme. I figured I probably shouldn't.
Yeah,
and
don't.
And Blackthorn. I got G.I. Joe in 3D. It was only 2 issues of that I got, and I got Image.
Okay.
And Image has a Real American Hero, and that has like 1 through 25 or something like that.
Yeah, all that stuff's pretty good. I mean, there's some stuff that's sketchy, you know, where it's like any comic series. There's some stuff where it's just like, nah, it didn't do it for me.
But I need to stick with the original 1 to 155.
Stick with the 1 through 155. There's going to be some bad issues here and there, but you trudge through it. It's going to be good.
I think I read like 5 issues yesterday, and it was one of, they were in the Arctic, and the Russians had some kind of something, and this guy on a dog sled, like, basically outsmarted the entire G.I. Joe team.
Yep, that's Quinn.
Yeah, Quinn. It was Quinn. It was pretty good.
He shows up quite a few times in the series. You'll find out why guys like Justin from General Joe's, and you know all the guys from What's on Joe Mind are going nuts for the Quinn action figure coming out.
Ah, that's cool. Yeah, up until yesterday, I never even heard of Quinn.
Yeah, he's pretty awesome.
Kick ass. So I'm going in the right direction.
Absolutely.
All right, love it. I'll keep you up to date, and I'll probably be tweeting about it and posting it on the board.
Fantastic.
Question number 2, and this could be a tough question, or it could be a very easy question. What is the worst variation of G.I. Joe?
This is a very tough question because there's a lot to choose from that's pretty bad.
Exactly.
I mean,
if you want to do a top 3 or rank them or something, by all means.
All right, I'll go top 3. G.I. Joe Extreme is my number 1. It's awful. It's absolutely awful. I think number 2, I'm gonna get out of comics and cartoons and go into the action figures. And it's the I can't remember what it's called, but they had like the mutated versions of the Joes, and it was like these crazy alien creatures, and it was just terrible, just terrible. And number 3 would probably be the cartoon movie. Because there's some redeeming qualities in there, but it's we all know how bad it is.
We definitely know how bad it is. We also would have accepted Sigma 6.
See, I like Sigma 6.
No, you didn't.
Let me clarify that. I've never seen the cartoon. I know nothing about the cartoon.
Okay, see, that's why.
But I love the toys.
Okay.
I think the toys are amazing.
All right, then maybe. We also would have accepted Resolute, and we also would have accepted Renegades.
See, I liked Renegades
No,
too.
you didn't.
Yes, I did.
No, you did not. There's no way that you like. They turned G.I. Joe into the A-Team.
I enjoyed it. What can I say? And they gave Tunnel Rat a starring role. Tunnel Rat's an awesome character.
Not that Tunnel Rat.
I liked him.
Dare you?
And his action figure was superb. Just an amazing toy.
How dare you? When I was your age. Okay. Question number 3. The cartoon movie or Rise of Cobra?
Is this a choice of better or worst, or which do I prefer?
Okay, we'll go. Which do you prefer? And because both of them are blights, both of them ruin everything. So which is the better of the two evils?
Rise of Cobra.
I'm going to agree hesitantly.
Rise of Cobra because of the sword fight between Snake Eyes and Storm Shadow at the end. It's too short. It's not lengthy enough to redeem the entire movie. It certainly doesn't approach like the levels of epic sword fight in Princess Bride or anything like that.
Or Robin Hood Men in Tights.
Or Men in Tights, exactly. But the sword fight itself is good, and there's some neat uses of technology, not accelerator suits. Don't start that rumor. Okay. But there's some cool nods to stuff in there that I can look at and appreciate as a Joe fan. But not enough for me to truly like the movie. Although I got high hopes for Retaliation.
Okay. That's fair. I can see that. Yeah, I mean, plus at least Cobra Commander didn't turn into a snake.
True.
Okay. Question number 4. Okay. For $100,000 cash money, you have to go to work dressed as Dr. Mindbender.
Okay.
And for your entire shift, you have to do the Running Man. Dressed as Dr. Mindbender, and for the entire shift, you have to smile with both rows of your teeth showing.
Oh wow!
Would you do it?
No.
That's 100,000. It's 100K.
That's fine. That's okay. I would do any two of those things together, but not all three. All three is a deal breaker.
Both rows of teeth showing while you're doing the Running Man for the entire shift.
That's like an aggressive dog thing. You show both rows of teeth. You're trying to hurt somebody. That's
Okay. The fifth and final question. All right. You get a choice of 3.
Okay.
Pick your G.I. Joe code name.
All right.
1. Dumb fuck. He's a paratrooper.
All right.
He's a paratrooper. The artillery and grenade specialist, Cock and Balls.
Cock and balls.
Okay.
Or the trainer of the young recruits, and his code name is Kid Toucher.
All right. I'm afraid of heights, so dumb fuck's right out.
Okay.
So it's between Kid Toucher and Cock and Balls.
Cock and balls.
Gonna be honest, I'm gonna go with the artillery and grenades explosive. Just call me Private Cock and Balls.
Maybe he's got some balls and some cock.
Private Cock and Balls it is, ladies and gentlemen. You didn't want, we have a special mission. Kid Toucher, get in here.
I'm Chris Hansen with Dateline.
Oh, you put Kid Toucher and Stalker on the same team?
Is that any of the spin-off comics that I have?
I think that's against the Geneva Convention, actually.
They're going to be brought up and charges up against Clarence Thomas. Private Cock and Balls. At this point in the show, I like to give my guests time to give shout-outs and plug everything that they're doing and social media and say how great my show is and how much fun you had. So at this point, by all means, the floor is yours.
Thank you. Again, I mean, I said at the top, it's my pleasure and my honor to be coming back onto the show. This is, I say this every time anyone asks me about the show. It is the most slickly produced and funniest show that is put out there. It is one of the highlights of my week when the show goes up or the OT goes up. I love listening to the show. So being on it now for the second time, I feel like I've kind of made it in the podcast universe. As far as what I've got going on, I have my own show. It's called Push to Regen. It is a show about hero clicks. Certainly it's not for everybody. It is definitely a niche market, but Rob and I are pretty funny. It's a good show, so give it a listen.
Definitely.
You can follow us on Twitter at Push to Regen, or follow me on Twitter at jcorduroy. It's just the letter and then the word corduroy. And yeah, I mean, you can see my writings on Twitter. I do some stuff for DFTBA News. Other than that, just follow me on Twitter. I like to interact with people there. It's kind of my thing.
Nice. Again, I appreciate you coming on. We're going to talk more G.I. Joe. We have to, and it's always fun to do that, and it's always fun to have you on the show. Everybody, get to Push to Regen, and even if you're not hero clicked out, just listen to it for the banter. Follow my guy on Twitter, and we're gonna get out of here. We might continue the conversation a little bit after the audience leaves, but for one more time, with good feeling and dumb fuck, cock and balls, and Kid Toucher. This is Jay Corduroy.
Thank you, E.
G.I. Joe will return after these messages.
You're looking at Cobra's new supersonic jet, the Raven.
Cobra Raven, Cobra Raven. There's no haven from the Cobra Raven. 2 jet engines, a drop-down cockpit, a hidden bomb port. Now you know it's got twin rear guns and a one-man drone, and it's on the lookout for G.I. Joe. G.I. Joe.
Live the adventure of G.I. Joe. Cobra Raven comes with what you see here. Other figures sold separately.
Now back to G.I. Joe.
Yo, that's it for the show. I want to thank you for listening. Special shout outs again to Jay Corduroy for coming through and yearbooking it up. Class of 85 G.I. Joe's with me. Thank you everyone listening. I can't name everybody, but I appreciate the people that's coming to the website, eclecticrelaxation.com, the message board, eclecticdiscussion.envisionzone.com. Peace to Lamar Revenger, peace to Count Marzo, and the Understood Fire crew, and Tim D.O. Double G, Classic, and every fucking body. And tell people that's not listening to the show, listen to the show. Just go through the archives and pick your favorite episode and just send it to them. And if that doesn't hook them, then they don't need to listen anyway. So let's wrap. I'm gonna get out of here and work on the next show. Clean up the Eclectic Studios and get Devin some toys. And next show will be here before you know it. And speaking of Devin, in the meantime and between time, sir.
Appreciation.
I can't be your lover.